The exclusive interview with world-renowned cutlery designer Kit Rae, today on the vBlog at BudK. Hi, I'm Nathan Lawson, and thanks for watching. Today on the vBlog at BudK, we have an entire episode solely dedicated to designer Kit Rae and his work. And as a special, an exclusive interview with Kit. Now for those of y'all who do not know him, Kit Rae is a fantasy collectibles designer who specializes in knife design, fantasy, and sci-fi art. Kit's background in art started when he was a child with charcoal drawing, acrylic, and oil painting. Now Kit uses a mixed media approach to his art, utilizing drawing, painting, photography, and the computer. Kit's chronicle, Swords of the Ancients, is an extensive token-like story featured on his website. The address is located on the screen now if you want to check it out. Now, Swords of the Ancients spans several centuries, and the legends stand for the basis for many of his fantasy weapon designs. Now, earlier we had the opportunity to get Kit here in the vBlog set for an exclusive interview found here at the vBlog about K. Today's vlog highlights Kit's work, some of them being his favorites, and include the excerpts from the interview that go along with each product. And if you want the whole story, the entire interview is being posted on BudK's YouTube channel as well. A link to the entire interview is located on the screen now. But for now, on to Kit Rae's first featured product. Alright, first up, we have the Kit Rae Sedethul Sword autographed, retailing for $225, but is at BudK for only $119.99. The latest in the Swords of the Ancients collection, Sedethul was one of the 3 swords of Aventhonia. Now you can check out the entire story at Kit Rae's site. The sword's hilt is wrought with an ornately decorated solid metal handguard, a genuine leather wrapped grip, and a rigid armor-piercing pommel. Now the AUS-6 stainless steel false edge blade features a deep fuller groove and laser engraved Kit Rae emblem. Now these are all serial numbered, and they're strictly limited to only 2,000 pieces worldwide. This includes a custom art print hand signed by Kit Rae and a certificate of authenticity. The sword is 45¼ inches overall with a 33-inch blade. Now also for you collectors, the Sedethul comes in the Kit Rae Sedethul Sword Gold Edition, retailing for $332, but at BudK on sale for only $189.99. Now here's what Kit Rae had to say himself about the Sedethul.
That's actually a design that's been around probably about 15 years. I'll design dozens of swords every month.
Okay.
Or different weapon designs, and then I'll go through them when it comes time to figure out what the next release is going to be. And I was going through some old designs, and just that one just jumped out at me that I never got made, and it's always one I wanted to get made.
Okay.
So it's started off as being a more or less functional piece, and then I started putting my little flares with it around the handguard.
Alright, next up is one of Kit's personal favorites, the Kit Rae Mithrodin Sword, retailing for $185, but is on sale at BudK for only $109.99. From his epic mythological tale, The Tales of the Swords of the Ancients and Other Blades of Power, this is Mithrodin, which measures 42¾ inches overall and offers a 23¾ inch mirror polished blade of 420 stainless steel. Now the solid metal handle features antique metal finish and genuine leather wrapped grip. This sword includes a certificate of authenticity and a Kit Rae fantasy art print. Now of course, due to the exclusivity and limited number of production of this piece, we chose not to unwrap the artwork, but you can see it here. Now from the website we read, right out of the box, it blew me away. My jaw almost hit the floor. What a gorgeous sword! The sword is well worth the price. Don't think about it, just buy it and you won't go wrong. Now another reviewer has to say this. This just might be Kit's finest. Everything about this blade is just sexy. The way the blade curves, the ruins, even the slightly katana-style wrap on the handle. This is a perfect sword. Let's see what Kit has to say about it.
Okay. Mithrodin sword has always been one of my favorites, and that's one of the collector's favorites. I hear more comments about that sword than any of the other ones.
Well, why is that one? Is it because it was your first that that's your favorite, or is there a specific reason to the design?
I think that's another one that was an older design that we never made because it looked a little bit too Middle Eastern for the time.
Okay.
Then Lord of the Rings came out, and the Elvish weapons sort
and
of
you had a handle and
popularized
all
that.
that.
Well, I supervised all the replicas for the Lord of the Rings line.
Right.
But that that sort of made that design, that look, okay, because instead of being Middle Eastern, then now it's Elvish.
Okay, well, we want to take a moment and look at the interview segment, which I would expect a lot of people are interested in, where we hear about Kit's involvement in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, along with the upcoming Hobbit films. Let's check it out. But you worked on Lord of the Rings, and are you working on the Hobbit?
We are working on the Hobbit.
Okay, all right.
United Cutlery secured the license for that, and they still have the Lord of the Rings license.
Of course, yeah. Now, but you specifically, you're actually working on some of the pieces.
Yeah. What I do is the pieces are already designed by Weta Workshop and all
Right.
their great design team, and we basically reverse engineer those. Try to figure a way to make a semi-production version that anybody can go and buy, and that's what
Right.
we did on the Lord of the Rings line.
Right.
Obviously, a lot of secrecy around what they're doing, and they don't want us to reveal what's being done. But a few things that have already been talked about in public, we can talk about. Obviously, there's most of the characters are dwarves. The pictures of those have already been released.
Yeah,
on the
we
internet.
actually
You can
put
see
those
lot
on a
of the
few weeks
weapons.
ago, yeah.
Well, we're doing most of those weapons that you
Okay.
can see in those photos.
And
There's a lot that you can't see.
Gandalf, maybe, or maybe
Well,
the elves.
Everybody
or,
knows Gandalf has a staff in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So people know Legolas is in the film. So we're already asked, does Legolas have the same knives, the same bow that he had in the first film? I can't answer that.
So they
because,
basically going to say a no comment thing.
Yeah, I can tell you he does have knives, and we're working on those. A lot of things we haven't even seen yet because the design work is not finished.
Okay.
And a lot of the Elven material we haven't seen yet. What I have seen is very interesting. That's about all I can say about it. They want it all to remain a surprise for people. when the
Okay.
films come
Well,
out.
that's it.
All I can tell you is what I've seen is very cool, and it's going to be a worthy follow-up. This is a prequel, but this is a worthy follow-up to the Lord of the Rings line
Sweet.
that we've done.
Well, we also sat down with Kit about how he started in the fantasy cutlery industry, along with other clips such as a throwing axe prototype that he actually brought here on the vBlog studio. Unfortunately, we just didn't have time for all this in the vBlog, so make sure you check out the full interview on these segments. A link is on the screen now. Okay, next up we have the Kit Rae Black Jet Triple Throwing Knife Set retailing for $66, but it's on sale at BudK for only $38.99. These double-edged throwers are perfectly balanced for supreme throwing accuracy. The unique styling and fantasy etching also make for a great dagger. Now, each piece is solid stainless steel construction with leather-wrapped grips. Each includes a leather sheath, and it's 10 3/4 inches overall, and it has a 5.5 inch blade. Now, from the website, we read this: fly very straight if you know what you're doing. If you know how to throw without a spin, they work very well that way too. Stick deep into the target. And also we read, these are very nice knives. Solid, much larger and heavier than I expected. Honestly, they're almost too pretty to throw. I definitely recommend these for someone that likes heavier knives, even if it's just for a display. And here's what Kit has to say about throwing knives.
Long before the fantasy work started, that's what I did
Okay.
in this industry, is work on functional knives, folding knives, hunting knives, sporting knives. That's basically what I started with.
Right.
And I slowly pushed that, at least as far as my brand, I pushed that into the fantasy area, but I still kept doing the tactical pieces, and I've always loved throwing knives since I was a kid. And I've had a throwing knife line under my brand for a few years.
All right, finally today we have the Kit Rae Ellexdrow War Spear with art print, retailing for $162, but on sale here at BudK for only $94.99. The first spear in the Kit Rae line, Ellexdrow is a spear of the 200-year-old Mithrodin master, who charged the tides of the battle in the Red War by throwing his spear and piercing the heart of the Dark One, securing his defeat. Now, Ellexdrow features two AUS 6 stainless steel blades, a blackened steel shaft, and leather wrapping grips, and finely detailed solid metal fittings. Each spear is serial numbered and marked with a laser engraved Kit Rae emblem. And it comes with a custom art print and certificate of authenticity. It also ships disassembled in 2 sections, but overall it's 71 inches and has an 18.5 inch blade. That's all the time we have for this week's vBlog of BudK, and we do hope that you have enjoyed this exclusive look into the world of Kit Rae. Make sure you check out the entire interview. A link is on the screen now again. As always, send us your requests and comments on your preferences for the Kit Rae work that you like and why. Email your love letters, your hate mongering to vblog@budk.com. That's vblog@budk.com. And check out budk.com/vblog for all the products that we have listed today. And for all the action-packed adventures that we have, check out budk Full-Throttle.com. From all of us here at BudK, I'm Nathan Lawson, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.